This is the Hot Metal Brand Podcast. I'm your host, Martin Sully, founder of Snapper Studio, a brand strategy and visual design studio in the heart of Newcastle, Australia. And I'm on a mission to help you gain clarity in your brand and confidence in what you're selling. From thoughtful, empowering brand strategies to defining powerful visual stories, I'll arm you with bite-sized branding tools to help you grow your brand and leave your own unique mark. Welcome back. This is episode 7, Crafting Your Customer Experience. Now, those of you who are not watching behind the scenes won't know that I just recorded this whole episode without actually recording it. So here we go. There's a little intro into this one. Unfortunately, this one's also called Crafting Your Customer Experience. Now, if you were to watch that behind the scenes and then find out about not recording it, you're going to be like, this guy's a phony. So anyway, last week we covered brand promises and culture, how to build a culture that everyone aligns with, which is really important for this episode. At least I had a chance to rehearse this one, hey? So, crafting your customer experience. The internet is a magical place. There's cat videos and videos of people making homemade face masks, which are literally just water cooler bottle that people have just popped on their heads. And then there's trolls and disgruntled customers who seemingly love sharing it with the world. Which, yeah, we can't control that feedback, but we can control the experience that leads to the feedback. So you need to make that experience unforgettable in a good way, not the bad way. We don't need unforgettably bad experiences that you're giving customers. This is like anti-branding. The general plan for this should be along the lines of: person discovers you. There's more steps here. Person makes a purchase. More things happen from you. Person leaves a positive review and comes back again after telling 6 friends. Okay? Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah! Right. So here we go. That is the general thing we need to be working on. And that's just a short kind of intro. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of how you can make your plan out your customer experience. But first of all, we need to know what a customer experience should comprise of. So you need to look at surprising and delighting your customers. That is everything. Like, do stuff that they are not expecting. That's how you create something that is memorable. Personalize the experience as well. Because who doesn't like something that's personalized? It feels like, like these people actually understand me. They get me. They are on board. Even if it's just like you've sent out a package and you're just handwriting a note, that's like worth its weight in gold. And to be honest, each time that I get something like that, and this is me because I'm in branding, I will keep that and use it as inspiration for another project, and to show people that, look, this goes a long way. If you're invested, like I quite often get coffee brought. I buy a lot of coffee. I drink, not because I drink a lot of coffee, I just like the experience of, I love coffee. All right, I'm not going to lie. But when I get something through the post, something that's been nicely printed, the packaging is good, likelihood is I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put it on my shelf of inspiration. And at some point, it's going to get dug out to use as an inspiration point for another project. Enough about that. Next thing you need to add into your experience is value at each touch point. even if it's free, it shouldn't make a difference whether it's paid for. You should always add value. Making it memorable. So like we've said before, surprise and delight, make it memorable through being authentic as well. And anchor it in consistency. So everything you do has got to be consistent, from your online experience to your social media experience, your packaging experience, your experience face-to-face with people, telephone, email, like you name it. There's a lot of different places, but you need to make sure they're all aligned. Next up, avoid failing expectations. So people expect a certain thing. When you don't deliver, people get narked, and this is when they start leaving the bad feedback. And never assume allegiance. You may have been with them for XXXXX. You might have been with them for 10 years using their product. They still want to be treated as a new customer, and every now and again they want to just be remembered and thought about, and not just kind of like, well, they're going to stick with me because they've been a customer for 10 years. A nice one to do is just to also practice gratitude. And this can be in a number of ways. Can be, and obviously it's dependent on what your business is. So an example of mine, one of my clients is a yoga and movement studio, and they obviously, other than me going to them, ways they've practiced gratitude in the past, like birthday cards, Christmas cards, all these sorts of things, thank you note. I've had the odd week of movement for free because I've recommended somebody, and these are like really simple little things that they can do that just show you that they value your membership, or that they value your service. And finally, you need to consistently improve the service. You're always going to be continuously doing it, working on feedback and making sure it's all working together to build this amazing experience. So, moving on. If you want to build your reputation with your customers, you need to focus on the little details. And honestly, I cannot stress this enough. Like I said earlier, it's those little details in the coffee packaging that make me remember. Like, I can tell you exactly who. I'm not going to name brands, but I can tell you exactly which brand did it. And this was, this probably happened a year and a half or 2 years ago, but it left an impact. I may not have been back since, but that's irrelevant. They're still planted in my mind. So like I said, I can't stress this enough. And it's the little things that collectively make a big impact. So instead of putting together meaningless, forgettable, samey, expected experiences, you need to work out a journey to elevate your experience to meaningful, unforgettable, unique, and unexpected. This helps create customers that are loyal, who pass on the good word, and they'll be your ultimate fanboy or fangirl. This then saves you marketing dollars. And I'd put the cheer sound back on, but do you know what? I'm going to just end up hitting like a drum roll or something completely wrong. So I'm going to leave that to the pros. All right, before you cheer and crack out the Dom Perignon, this task is, like I said, it's a continually evolving process. There will always be steps to improve, delete, or new ones to add as well. Importantly, this sort of evolving process allows you to see the little gaps where the journey is a bit confused, broken, or kind of just missing completely. So this is where we kind of get into the work, and this is 2 techniques I want to share. The first is what I recommend in branding workshops and what I do in branding workshops. So this is grabbing a giant sheet of paper. I use a butcher's block typically, and some good old Sharpies, a couple of colored pens, and let's go. So on the left, you want to write customer meets your brand name. On the right, customer leaves review. Now, write down every step they take in between. So in between customer meeting you and customer leaving a review, you might have lots of different ways that they meet you as well. So you might have down the left, you might have opt-in, referral, in-person networking, search engine, don't skip any. And then there may be, so once you've got all those written down, it may be that there's little steps you can start connecting up in the middle. But, generally, you're gonna reach a point where you've got a certain set of action points to create, a certain set of touch points that you need to make. And when you've worked out those touch points in the middle, you need to analyze them. So to see if they are aligned with the early work you've put in. So are they communicating the right feeling? Are your values kind of, have you used your values to communicate with them? And there's a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, tone of voice, but we're going to get to that later on. So, you need to, as I said, you need to analyze these touch points. So if it's a phone call, how did it get answered? How was the tone of voice? If it was an email, did the touch point elicit emotive response? Is copy written in your black brand's language? It's actually 3 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I'm actually a bit hungry. So my mind's on food. If you want a brownie point, start thinking about also customizing a few obscure steps. And these could be things like quoting and invoicing. And it was a fun one. Rollie's, the shoe brand, they're like super comfortable, made in Australia. Like, they're quite expensive shoes, but their invoice or their receipt that they sent when I bought a pair of shoes had lines down it, and you could basically make the invoice into paper airplanes, and then obviously they'd printed on it in little bits, and so to the wings looked like they had a cool pattern on. Like, those little touch points, that is cool. Like, I know that it's completely useless and nobody needs a paper airplane, but geez, it was fun for like a minute. And the fact is, I still talk about it. Other places you could brand, you could pump up your 404 error page. Like, 404 error pages, like when you've gone to the website, you've tried finding something, or a link is broken. Like, 404 pages is just a general page to tell somebody that the link is broken. But I've seen some amazingly creative, fun ways to do that, to make it a little bit interesting. You can also then point people to, you can give people options to search your website again, try and see if you can find a different page. You can, highlight new new blog posts, new projects you've been working on. They might not have found the thing that they want to come to, but they might be able to find something better or find something else or you might be able to just say, oh, look, shoot me some feedback. I didn't know this was broken. Here, get in contact with our web guy and he'll fix it up for you or point you in the right direction. Those little things are quite good. Other things you could do is packaging outside of the packaging. So don't just, you get your packaging done and then it just comes in a brown box. Like that's, you're not put more effort in. And is the packaging biodegradable? Is it well protected? Is there something else you could do? Could you slip in a thank you card? That's another thing. Have you put stickers on the outside? That, are you, you planned an event. Have you branded the event? Is it all, is it part of your experience? Are you going far enough? Could you double down and make it even better so that people are like, well, this is incredible. Like these guys put on such an amazing event. In personal meetings, what's your rhythm? What's your, how do people meet you and they get like a package or if they're interested in your product, do they, do you give them something? Have you worked all this out yet? How can you make the most mundane process an exciting exchange? I don't know. You tell me. Obviously, I can tell you if I know what's going on with your business. But anyway, so you might find you end up with, from all this, you might find you've got a huge to-do list. But, I can't tell you how important these are. So chip away and see what happens. The last thing that you could do is a client, when they worked with me, they went away and worked on their customer experience and then fed back to me so I could see all the bits and pieces that she'd done. And she'd like thought of her own new way to kind of do it that worked for her. So what she did with her touch points, she'd cut out little bits of cardboard, and on one side she'd written what the touch point was, so email or phone call, sales call, that sort of thing. And then from there, she'd flipped it over on the other side, and on the back of it had written exactly the tone of voice and the actual messaging itself. She'd written all this out, and it was a really cathartic experience for her to then just implement all these things. But gradually she could do it, and she told me that she just put it in the bin when she was done. So it kind of like she went from a pile of, a stack of 10 or 12 different things to zero. But those little changes, were all made. So this is a good way to just chip away at them and see how, see what happens. That is it for today's episode. That was a really fun one. I love talking all about customer experiences and how you can improve them, how you can make them better through little things. There's always something you can be more on brand with, you can be more engaged with, and really start working your brand into every little orifice of your life to the point where you become, dare I say it, a little bit obsessed with it. Anyway, I'll leave that one with you and see you around on the next episode. Bye-bye for now.